right, honey. If you can describe the Santa Claus movie franchise in one word, what would it be? Go.
Abrupt. Honestly.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Charming Analysis Podcast, and welcome back to another episode of our Christmas Palooza. As we said in the intro, today we're going to be talking about the Santa Claus movie franchise. It's basically a trilogy, but at this point, we're calling it a franchise because we haven't gotten a confirmation of a fourth movie, even though Tim Allen would be open to doing it, so surprised they haven't done that. Anyway, we're going to be talking about the Santa Claus movies. Because my bean has never seen any of them, which I find hilarious, because I used to watch at least the first one.
Part of the third one on Disney Channel.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
But I've seen majority of the first one and a bit of the third one. Like, quite a bit. I never saw the second. So, This was my first time seeing all three movies all the way through. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to start with the first one, then the second, then the third, and rating them as a whole. And also, this is our first Christmas franchise I think we've really done. So, I'm excited. I hope to do more of them with my bean for each Christmas Palooza. I'm getting you to watch the Home Alone ones eventually.
I want to watch the Home Alone one.
It'll be fun.
We'll
make it fun.
Wanna.
You're being a big baby.
I don't wanna.
Anyway, that's a job for future me. Anyway, so we're gonna start with the first Santa Claus movie. They're called The Santa Claus, just so you guys know, and it has an E at the end. And the first one came out in 1994. So why don't you explain what The Santa Claus is about, honey? Take it away. Or do you not, or do you want me to fucking explain
I don't know, guy kills Santa, he becomes Santa. There's a subplot with his kid, and he's getting he has to fight for custody, and everyone thinks he's crazy because he's Santa. This would actually be a really good thriller the more I think about it.
Oh my god. But yeah, like Jay said, this is basically about a guy named Scott who's played by Tim Allen. He's a divorced dad and has custody of his son, Charlie, who is played by Eric Lloyd. That's who the kid's name is, for your information, honey. Because you were asking who that was. And then after he accidentally kills Santa Claus, they get magically transported to the North Pole. And it's basically about Scott trying to explain to his son that Santa Claus is not real, even though he is. And basically, because he killed Santa by accident, he is now Santa Claus. That's basically the gist of what this movie is about. And it basically, you have a little card, and whoever wears the Santa Claus suit becomes the new Santa. So that's basically Scott, aka Tim Allen. So yeah, fun fact, I used to watch this movie a lot growing up. This was one of the movies I ended up watching quite a bit, along with a couple other ones here and there. So when I found out Jay has never seen the Santa Claus movies, I was like, fuck that, we're starting that. You're gonna watch them with me. And he's like, ugh. It was funny seeing your reactions to all these.
I didn't expect them to be good, and none of them were good, so I don't know what...
Well, they're like, interesting. As you kept saying, they're more abrupt with a lot of their stuff. But don't forget, the first one came out in, like, the mid-90s.
I don't get that as an excuse.
It's a bit of a campy...
If it's a Christmas classic comparatively to some other people, then I am going to judge it whether or not it deserves to be a Christmas classic. I don't think the Santa Claus deserves to be a Christmas classic. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I don't think so. Not on my watch.
I think it's an interesting movie. It's a different premise to the Santa Claus to the Santa Claus trope in a sense. Mm-hmm. Fun fact, this movie's budget was $22 million.
Oh my god.
For 1994. Isn't that nuts?
Bro, it looks like it could be made off of 900,000.
It probably could have.
Like, honestly, it's just... It was reminding me a little bit of Christmas with the Cranks.
Which
and not just
came out a couple years...
Not just because Tim Allen's in it.
But don't forget, this came out, like, in the mid-90s. So this, I think, Home Alone and Christmas with the Cranks, I think, came out before this. So yeah, this came out in the mid-90s. And this was a classic in my house, at least. I don't know if it was a classic, like...
No. It was not a classic in my house. Like, it was...
You've never seen this.
I only watched the cartoon versions of 25 Days of Christmas. I didn't go anywhere near the live actions 25 Days of Christmas.
But yeah, what did you think of the
Man, if I saw this as a kid...
You probably would have been like, what the fuck?
I would have been probably, like, so bored and so sad. Because I have no idea. Where's the festivities in this shit? I don't know. Because it's just... It's a father and a son... Like...
Bonding.
No, they're, like, arguing about whether or not Santa's real. Like, you know, that he's Santa. And the kids, like, you know, just... Okay, I did not... first off, I did not like this child actor.
Eric Lloyd.
I did not like him when he was, like, small. At, like, 6 years old. I'm like, oh my god, this kid's so annoying. I don't...
You'd rather have Macaulay Culkin?
Oh my... No... A good actor? I don't know. Fuck. Like... Dude, I don't know, but it's like this kid's acting was not doing it for me at all, and I just found him annoying throughout the entire thing. I didn't find his acting good. I don't like Tim Allen as Santa Claus. I'm sorry. I don't like him as Santa Claus.
I think he's a decent Santa Claus.
I don't know, the cynicism Santa... There's only a few people that could pull that off. Ain't fucking Tim Allen.
He was one of my favorite Santas, like, as a kid. In my opinion.
Even when he tries to play it, it's kind of terrifying because it's like this other mind is kind of invading his own, and he's not him anymore. At the end of the movie, he's like a fake Santa he's putting on a show type Santa. It isn't Tim Allen anymore. It's literally this Santa took over his mind. It's fucking terrifying. I know he's a kind of a dick, but, like, it's kind of terrifying. I think that it just could change your whole personality like that. I'm sorry.
But yeah,
what
were some of the notes you took? Because he was taking notes.
Yeah,
through this.
The couple, the ex-wife and the stepdad were, like, being assholes because it's like, oh, this kid's gonna, like, you know, be scarred for life if, like, he still believes in Santa. He's fucking 6 years old, okay? Just because you discovered Santa wasn't real when you were, like, 3, which is bullshit.
That was the stepdad.
That's some stupid bullshit. Just because you did, like, he's fucking 3. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
All he wanted was the Oscar Mayer weenie whistle.
That's the absurdity of it. But it makes no logical sense.
Here's one of the things I found funny.
It makes no sense.
You want to know one of the things I found funny? Like, the reason he got scarred from Santa Claus was because at 3 years old, he wanted an Oscar Mayer weenie whistle. First off, why the fuck is that a thing? Why would you want a whistle that looks like an Oscar Mayer wiener?
Anything for everyone at this point. I'm sure you can find one on eBay for like $12,000.
I'm actually gonna look this up.
No, it's just everything is very just happens because it happens. You know, it's one of those movies, and I just
it's the second thing that pops up.
Yeah.
It was associated with the brand in the 1950s. You can get it for $15 on eBay.
My goodness.
I found it.
But, like, it just happens. Stuff happens because, you know, it happens. And I would be more forgiving a bit about it if it was, like, any type of Christmas joy. But to me, it didn't have the Christmas joy. It didn't have any spirit of
I understand Christmas. It's not for everybody.
And it was, like, the judgment of faith when it comes to, like, believing in Santa when you can't even make up your own rules about this universe. Do people, like, know that Santa exists, or do they not know that he exists?
Like, pick a lane. I will say that. At least if you're gonna do that, for the trope, pick a lane.
Like, if you're gonna show him off to, like, the whole entire fucking neighborhood, then, like...
Then do that.
And then do that.
And if you don't, then make it a secret.
But then you're gonna say, oh, he's, like, it's a secret. No one should know about him. Because, like it's a secret. But you saw a whole neighborhood look at him. And you keep seeing that. And I'm just like, why?
It's one of those things
it doesn't work. You can't have it both ways.
I will agree with you on that aspect, because if you're gonna pick a trope for the Santa Claus trope in quotes, you gotta pick a specific kind. You either tell the secret or you don't. And I can understand where that kind of throws people off. I just liked the heartwarmingness of him and his son bonding. That was the thing that I enjoyed out of this first movie, honestly. Sure, he's a bit of a dickhead, but at least he's a nice dickhead and cares about his son. At least he's willing to be around his son, much to Neil's expense. He hates Neil. Okay, despises. I feel like despises is a better word. It's like Timmy Turner's dad and Dinkelberg. That's basically how these two are, in a sense. But yeah,
no wonder you kept falling asleep to this when you were a little kid.
I only fell asleep to the later half of it.
I would fall
not
asleep.
The first half.
I would fall asleep to this too. Honestly, if I put this on, I'd be like, "Oh my god, can we like get somewhere?" We only visited the fucking North Pole for like fucking 5 minutes. This is crazy.
Okay, so I guess, do you have anything else to say about the first one? Because you took notes. I'm curious what your notes are.
You can look at those.
Let me
notes.
actually.
No, we can look at those notes later.
I want to look it up.
No, just look at those notes.
You can still
Alright,
do it.
go look at those notes
It's
later.
fine. I'm looking.
Oh my god.
I gotta figure out where your notes are. Where are your notes on here? Oh wait, there they are.
No.
Okay, so I don't.
Those aren't my notes.
I'm going back. Will you give me a second? Is it this?
No, you're in the wrong page. I don't put my notes there.
But where do you put them?
Exactly. You'll never know where they are. Too late. Whatever. It's okay. It just.
Well, I'm gonna have to look at his notes later.
Yeah, we're just literally vibing right now. We're talking about this movie
at like 3 a.m.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think it's an alright movie.
I don't like it because it's just...
It's too abrupt, is what you keep saying. You keep saying it's too abrupt.
It's too abrupt. Like, it doesn't take... I don't know. It just goes because it wants to go. You know? This guy puts on the goddamn Santa suit and acts like it's another fucking Tuesday at the acts as another Tuesday at the office. Like what magic am I supposed to get out of that? What type of joy am I supposed to get out of that? What am I supposed to feel when this guy is actually being turned into Santa? I don't feel nothing because it's fucking Tim Allen playing him.
And also the fact that he starts to get angry over the fact that they wanted Santa Claus in a tank. And he's like, what about the reindeer? What about this? Da, 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 da. I get it, but like, dude, you're being a dick about it. At least don't be a dick about it. Like, just saying. But I can see where you're coming from. Like, this movie series isn't for everybody. And I can understand, like, you know, your aspect on it. But I think in the term of Christmas movies, the first one's alright. It's alright. I do have nostalgia for it, personally, because that's one of the movies I grew up on. But it's interesting. I'm going to give my rating for that. Do you have anything else to say before we give our ratings and start the second one? Because I want to do my rating first.
Nah.
I already know what you're going to put on Letterboxd. You're literally going to put abrupt.
No.
I feel like you would. I feel like you would do that.
No, I didn't.
Surprisingly.
I didn't.
Excuse me. Anyway, so... Excuse me. Oh my goodness, I got the gas. Alright, for the first movie, I'm gonna give it a solid 6 out of 10. I think it's alright. It's an alright movie. I'm still surprised they even made 3 more. I only knew they made the second one for the longest time. I never knew they made a third until like... I think I was like a teenager when I found out they made a third movie. I was like, what? This got a third movie? But yeah, I give it a 6 out of 10. What do you give the first one?
I'm going to be generous and give it a 3 out of 10.
Really? A 3? That's really sad. Okay, fine. You can give it a 3. I'll give you that one. I get it's not for everybody. But if you're into movies like the Santa Claus ones, where it has kind of like the more... If you like Tim Allen, you'll like this. And if you also like the kind of Santa Claus movie where the son and dad bond with each other, I feel like you'll like this. Because that's one of the things I liked about it. But yeah, on to the second one. The Santa Clause 2, which came out in 2002, mind you. I saw the commercial for this fucking everywhere. So yeah, the second one came out in 2002, which is like a good 8 years, I think. It's a good while since the first one. Jay, wake up.
I know. I'm like trying not to fall asleep.
Oh my gosh.
God, it's almost 3 o'clock in the morning. We're talking about the Santa Clause Trilogy. This is...
It's not even that bad. It could have been worse.
Number 2.
So yeah, for those who don't know, the second one is basically about Tim Allen being Santa Claus for the past 8 years. And his elves consider him the best one ever. Apparently,
he needs to marry or he'll like never be allowed to be Santa again, so basically he's gonna die.
Yeah, so basically part of the Santa Claus...
He's gonna die alone.
That's not what it is. But basically the gist of it is, apparently in the Santa Claus, in quotes, the reason he became Santa Claus, there's a very, very tiny fine print. And they didn't realize it until this movie that you need to have a Mrs. Claus or you can't be Santa. Mm-hmm. You would think they would have said that like so much sooner than what it did. So basically he has to get married by Christmas Eve or he can't be Santa anymore. And the other side plot is Charlie, who's apparently, let's say he's preteen, beginning teenage years kind of deal. Because he's like in secondary school. I don't know what kind of school that is, but he's basically on the naughty list because he's being a naughty teenage boy. And
by graffitiing
his secondary school.
Which is not that bad.
But don't forget, this is the Disney Channel, so apparently that's bad for the Disney Channel.
I know, these are all made by Disney. Who would have thunk?
Yeah. So basically that's what the gist of the second one is. But yeah, between like 1994 and 2002 is a pretty big gap. I'm pretty sure it's at least 8 years, I think. I don't know anymore. But do you at least have some nice stuff to say about the second one? Take it away. Because fun fact, this was $65 million, which I find crazy. Because this came out in 2002.
And the budget still does not show.
The budget doesn't show?
No.
Okay, well, what do you think of the second one? Because I always saw the commercials for it growing up, and I thought it was, like, interesting, to say the least. It's an interesting take on the Santa Claus trope.
It was a hair more interesting than
the first one.
The first one.
And I will agree on that. I like the idea of him having to have a Mrs. Claus and the stakes with that. I find that interesting.
Lavender marriage, if I've ever seen one.
Well, you don't know that. Like,
I'm not talking about their sexuality. I'm talking about just literally just having like a contract and signing your life away to be with somebody who you don't even know. And if you don't do it, then you might as well give up your position or like die.
So well, he's not gonna die. Okay, he's not gonna die. They're not going to make him die. But I will say this. The plot in general for this movie, minus the fact that he has to find a wife, the fact that he has to do it in a month is fucking batshit crazy. And I think the premise in and of itself is a really bit much. It's a bit much for a Santa Claus movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like they decided to be like, hey, let's do this kind of plot and see what happens. And apparently, it's not as good as the first one, from what a lot of reviews have said. It started off being good for the first one, and then this one's slightly not as good. I guess is kind of what the deal is. But personally, to me, I thought this one was a little bit better than the first one. I thought it was alright. I feel like they kind of made it like, oh, you have to marry someone in a month. How the fuck are you going to marry somebody in a whole fucking month? Like, realistically, that's like fucking impossible. Or like very close to impossible. Because apparently some people can fucking do that. But what did you think of the plot? I thought it was a bit much for a Santa Claus movie.
Well, it's supposedly romantic, but I didn't really care for the romance at all. I don't think it was a good start of a romance or something there.
Same.
I was just like, I don't know. I was just kind of taken aback that this shit costs $65 million.
You still can't get over that.
Without inflation, by the way.
I know, it's without inflation. This was like way before inflation.
Mm-hmm.
This was literally like, I think I was like in kindergarten or first grade when this came out. I was like young. I was like young when this came out. But anyway, I feel like this movie in particular would have been better if they didn't make it involving Santa Claus. I feel like the premise of this could have been tweaked a little bit, and this could have been a good movie. You didn't even have to make this a Santa Claus movie. You could have literally just made this, like, an interesting kind of premise to it. It's not a bad film, but I feel like this could have been executed better. Like, plot-wise. I think the only reason this was probably the budget it was probably the background. It has to be either the background or the animation, even though the animation is not that good compared to how they did it in the first one. It's better than the first one, I'll say that. The reindeers actually look a lot better, but they're still not great. I feel like there's better animation that came out at that time. But then again, it's the early 2000s. I'm surprised they even made a second movie. Well, I knew they made a second movie, but I wasn't expecting it. I like that he's tolerating, like, his ex-wife's partner. I find that interesting, at least compared to the first movie. That Neil was a bit of a dick, but not as bad as Tim Allen. But at least they're starting to kind of tolerate each other, even though you can obviously tell that Tim Allen's character still resents Neil. Like, you can still tell. Jay, wake your ass up.
I know, I'm really trying to stay awake. This is what happens when you get me to watch movies at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I'm sorry. We're going to be staying home tomorrow anyway, so I thought, might as well sleep in. Anyway. But yeah, this is one of those movies that the plot could have been tweaked a bit better, in my opinion. This would have been good as not a Christmas movie. If you had done this same plot and took out all the Christmas elements to it, this would have been an interesting premise in and of itself, with a little bit of tweaking. What do you think? Do you agree or not really?
I guess I agree.
Because this could have literally been its own separate movie. They just decided, let's put the Santa Claus movies in this. Like, we need a second one. I feel like that could have been a bit better if they had just done it as a different movie that wasn't a Christmas one. Because this kind of sounds like a Valentine's Day themed movie, if you think about it. Kind of deal. More than an actual Christmas movie. But that's just my opinion. I did like the scenes where Tim Allen's basically giving gifts to everybody and they're all having a fun time. I thought that was a really wholesome scene. That I definitely enjoyed, though. That's probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. And it only took place over the course of 5 minutes. But yeah, other than that, I don't really have too much else to say about the second one. What about you? Did you like the second one? Did you not like it? Or
it was a little bit better, like a tiny fraction bit better than the first, but that's not really saying much.
Is it as abrupt as the first one? Because I feel like it's a little bit more polished in that aspect. At least a little.
I don't think so.
You think it's still kind of the same?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can understand that aspect. At least the animation is a bit better than the first one. Because, like, them regurgitating and moving the shapes around for Tim Allen going down the fucking chimney, that was kind of interesting. But don't forget, this came out, like, in the first one came out, like, mid-90s, so you're getting a little bit better with animation, but it's still not the best. But yeah, I'm gonna give the second one, I'm probably gonna give it like a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. I think it's alright. It is a bit better than the first one. Especially with like plot and stuff like that. I think it's alright. It's an alright movie. I still think the first one is a little bit better. But I do like the idea of him trying to get with somebody. But I feel like they could have, like, executed that better. Like, don't make it, like, a month. They could have, like, made it, like... Well, they could have still made it, like, a month, but they could have, like, spread it out. Like, do it during, like, the Burr months of the year, which is October, November, December. They could have done that. I feel like that would have made more sense than just doing it in a month. I feel like that's a little bit too rushed. Now, if you did it over the course of, like, 3 months, that probably would have been a little bit better. But that's really my only complaint. I would give this a 6.5 to a 7. I can't really decide. What about you? What do you give it out of 10? Well. Mate. Wakey.
I know.
We're almost done, okay? We're almost done.
I know, I'm really trying.
I know you are.
We're on number...
We're going to be on number 3 in a minute, but you have to give your second movie rating.
Second rating? Same as the last one, a 3.
You really give that one a 3 too?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to give it like something a little bit higher, but okay. Alright, we're on to the last movie. The Santa Clause 3, The Escape Clause. So this came out in 2006, and I did not realize they had a third movie until I was a teenager. I did not know this was a thing. So, for those who don't know, basically the third one is like, hey, you guys are basically going to have a kid. Your wife wants to see her folks. How are we going to get through this holiday without the folks basically telling everybody, oh, there's Santa Claus? Kind of deal. And they add Jack Frost into the fucking mix. So basically take in-laws coming over to relatives' house and basically get Jack Frost to not fuck everything up in the North Pole. That is basically the gist of what the third one is about. This, surprisingly, the budget for this one was not that much. It was around $12 million for the third movie. Way less budget than the first two, which is kind of surprising if you think about it. Like, I think that the budget, honestly, was surprising. Specifically for this movie. I was, like, not expecting this movie to have the smallest budget out of the three. Because normally, at least with certain series, you start to get more ambitious with the budget, like, the more you do. Like, the more movies you do. But the fact that this has the lowest of the three is kind of nuts. So what did you think of the third one, honey? And what did you think of fucking Jack Frost in it? Hello? What did you think of Jack Frost and the third movie?
He was a sneaky little man.
You're calling him a sneaky little man?
Yes, he definitely was a sneaky little man.
I was surprised. I personally am not the biggest fan of this movie. I feel like this movie basically took A Christmas Carol and just threw it into the mix and just added Jack Frost just for the fucking heck of it. Like, as a character, why the fuck did you add Jack Frost to this? Is it because he's cold? Is it because he's like wintry? I don't know why they did that. I thought it was kind of weird. But this movie is the weakest of the three. Mm-hmm. I will say that. It's the weakest of the three. Don't forget, this came out in 2006. So, it's basically going to be 10 years old next year, which, that's kind of nuts to think about. If you really think about it, that's nuts. You agree? It's going to be 10 years old next year. That's honestly crazy. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck? I don't feel like this came out that long ago, but it did. I'm old.
I get so blown away by dates.
Because some of them I'm surprised they came out when they did. Because it doesn't feel like it half the time. Anyway. I thought this movie was okay. It's definitely the weakest of the three. What did you think of the third movie? Give me your opinion. Oh, you know it's going to be a good thought when Jay goes, ugh.
I don't know what to think, honestly, about the third one. It feels like maybe I could catch... it feels like we have the name, let's make another one.
Yeah, that kind of sums it up pretty much, in my opinion. Like, at least personally to me.
At least, what's his name?
The guy that played Jack Frost.
Yeah, what's his name?
Martin Short.
Martin Short, at least he was having a ball.
Definitely. That's one thing I will say about this movie. I don't like Jack Frost as a character, but I like that Martin Short, who played Jack Frost, was having a good time with this. I will definitely say that. Did he have a good time being Jack Frost? Yeah. Is he my favorite character in the movie? Fuck no. I feel like he's, like how you said, he's a sneaky little bitch. But at least Martin Short made him interesting, so I'll give him that. At least the guy played Jack Frost in an interesting way. That I will give credit for. Even though he's not my favorite character, I do like how he does this character, though. He's a character you like to hate. Like my bean is with Jax from Digital Circus. But we'll talk about that whenever we finish Digital Circus. Because that's a topic for another day and another can of worms. But yeah, I also feel like they kind of tried to make everyone hate Tim Allen in this one. Like, actively trying to make him seem like the bad guy, when all he's doing is just trying to take care of his wife and his newborn that's about to be born. And trying to make sure Jack Frost doesn't fuck everything up.
I'm so happy that I'm so happy that cliche is not...
overdone.
Oh, well, it is overdone. Like... is trying to get away from the zeitgeist right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm overworked, I'm the overbearing father. Well, I don't know.
Well, don't forget he's Santa Claus. That's kind of his fucking job, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're Santa Claus.
Like, why are you trying to make Santa Claus the bad guy here? In my opinion, I don't feel like they should have done that. I feel like they could have had a more of a rivalry between these two to kind of compete for the holiday. Because when Jack Frost became Santa Claus, he looked ugly as fuck. Can we say that right now? I did not like the way they designed him as Santa Claus. Like, fuck that. He looked like an icy old man. Like, at least Tim Allen pulled it off. Like, he pulled off the Santa Claus look. This guy didn't. He looked like the Penguin from Batman, and Jack Frost had a fucking baby. That's what the Santa Claus Jack Frost looked like. The amalgamation of the two. Other than that, I don't like the third movie. I think the third movie definitely felt like a cash grab, and I feel like they could have done so much better with this. This is one of those rare circumstances where I
give the third movie a point for just being like...
A single point?
Yeah, I give it a point, but it's more than the other two, which I only gave like... What did I give it?
3 out of 10 for both, but we'll get to that in a minute. Last thing I'll say before we give our rating and then the thing as a whole. This is one of those rare circumstances in my personal opinion, because I'm one of those people, I don't mind sequels for stuff as long as you're doing something different. Like, I'm open to the idea of stuff having sequels. But if you're going to do that, you got to actually build on it. Like, if you're actually putting an effort and building on it, then it could work. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to work. It's still never going to be as good as the first movie, or second in some cases. But at least they're trying. This one, I feel like, this did not need the third movie. It would have been fine with the 2 movies. That's it. Other than the fact that we got the baby being born. They could have literally just made the movie about that. About them experiencing their first kid. That could have literally been the movie. Why the fuck do we need Jack Frost in this? Like, buddy, no one wants you to be Santa Claus. Why are you here? It's like the excuse, why are you here, buddy? So yeah, I personally give the Santa Clause 3 movie, The Escape Clause, a 2 out of 10. This could have literally been not even made. Or if you're going to make it about them having the baby. We don't need Jack Frost in this. Why were you here? You could have just made a cameo in the movie, and that's it. He should have just been in the second movie for, like, the seconds that they had, like, the little meeting. But whatever.
I give it a 4.
You give it a 4? Alright, what do you give the Santa Claus movies as a whole? Because I would give the Santa Claus movies as
3.
You give it a 3 in general?
Yes.
I'm going to give it, like, a 4. Overall, I feel like the Santa Claus movies are just okay. Not the best movies, but they're okay. I feel like they could have been a lot better. But yeah, that's basically the end of the podcast. Thank you guys so much. And I'm Mari.
I'm Jay.
And we're out. Bye, guys.